Hi, this is Phil, and I'm here to tell you all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Don't miss out on our comic book creator interviews, including our monthly Chichester chats with comic book legend D.G. Chichester, superhero movie brackets in our search for the worst comic book movie of all time, and many, many more specials, all completely uncensored. Access starts for $3 a month, full video when you pledge $5 a month. Check out the link in our show notes or go to patreon.com/CapesandLunatics. Hope to see you there.
This is Luca Perich, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
Face it, Tigers, you've hit the jackpot.
Who was that?
That was my wife. Leave me alone. Thank you, Danielle.
Okay, so really there was only one tiger in there. Let's be clear. I mean, I don't want to cause I don't want there to be problems here.
That's right. That's right. It's me.
Yeah, there's only one. You need to have it recorded. It's like Face It Tiger, because I'm just saying people can get the wrong idea.
I know. All right, kids, welcome back to Ultimate Spider-Cast. I am Phil. Again, Sub-tember continues again.
September.
Get it right.
October. It's the month in the middle when we don't know what's happening. Until Halloween happens. It's the month until Halloween.
That's right.
That's how we know what it is. Yeah. Subtober is from the summertime until Halloween.
All right.
In between time.
As you hear, Charlie Esser's here. Justin the Owl Osgood is here.
Hello. A choice he greatly regrets.
No.
Me, not Justin.
No.
Why did I invite this guy on?
I was going to say, Subtober will be when Justin talks about his favorite biscuit, Namor the Submariner.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Oh, Namor. He is quite the all beef patty. Let me just
Wow!
Yes.
Doesn't even need the special sauce, but he has it.
Whoa!
Anyway. No, look, you're going to be a man whose superhero costume is a Speedo. Yeah, we're looking at you, Aquaman, so afraid to show your body.
I know.
Be free.
It all up.
Be free, Aquaman.
Yeah.
You're
There's no
Namor.
shame in Namor's game.
Yeah, lets his wings be shown, man. It's like, hey, have you seen my wings? Yeah, I'm a freaking mutant. F you if you got a problem with that.
Check out these ankle wings as you kiss my ass.
Which is clearly visible and available. Thank you very much.
Yes.
In my belted swim trunks. As was the style at the time.
Yes. Belted swim trunks. Yeah.
You need this was in the days before elastic, You had to tighten it,
Yeah.
Don't want to give the ladies a show they didn't pay for. That's all I'm saying.
All right, so we're supposed to be here to talk about the first 3 issues of Superior Spider-Man from 2013.
Yes.
And before...
What's the name of the book? Phil?
Superior Spider-Man.
And why is it called that? Because it's the God-honest truth.
Should have been Egomaniac Spider-Man. All right, before you jump in, because I know you absolutely love this book, Charlie Esser. Justin, you said this was your first time reading this, right?
It was.
So, all right, first impressions. What did you think?
I really enjoyed it, actually. There were some parts that the art kind of didn't work for me, and it was more to do with the faces. Like, there were some moments where Jonah's face looked weird and Peter's face looked weird to me. But the rest of it was good. Like, the story was great. I loved when he saved Mary Jane and Peter was like, use the web. That was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I loved all 3 of these issues. These were really good. And this first one was an excellent debut as well. I mean, this new Sinister Six was really cool with Speed Demon, who we just talked about, and Boomerang, and the new Beetle, and all of this. And the Living Brain.
Yes!
Who I had forgotten about. I had actually forgotten about the Living Brain, so I was so happy to see him in there. But yeah, this was great. This new Sinister Six was cool. I thought it was a good idea to have Otto fight them. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I have to say, as he said, how dare you? How dare they call themselves the Sinister Six?
Exactly.
There is not an original member in the team. This is not, you don't, it's like, oh, hey, it's like if Spider-Man, Wolverine, and the Hulk and Ghost Rider decided to call themselves the Fantastic Four.
Right.
Like, who the heck do you think you are?
No,
gentlemen.
It's exactly like in Charlie. We're going to get there at the end of September. Those early Thunderbolts issues, Thunderbolts 3, like I told Lil, one of my favorite issues, just because Zemo and them come swooping in as the Thunderbolts, and it's like, wait, the Masters of Evil? And Zemo's just like, what? How dare you? And the rest of the issue is just villains beating on each other.
Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, it's delightful. I just feel bad. I don't feel bad for Big Wheel, but I feel bad for Big Wheel. Because it's like, you have a very stupid thing as your gimmick. It's not good.
And it doesn't work.
A getaway car that is not... That is just clearly obvious. That isn't a getaway car. That is a big wheel. It's like, yeah, there's a big wheel rolling down Grand Central Parkway. Can we put up a roadblock?
And it wasn't even the original Big Wheel. It's Overdrive, who can like transform different vehicles and stuff. I guess he just thought it was cool to grab Big Wheel's Big Wheel, and it's just like, so what is it like the
so that's not even Big Wheel? That's just something just decided to steal Big Wheel. It's like, dear God,
that's another.
Like, get a Corvette, sir.
I was going to say it's another.
I know it doesn't have a back seat, but adapt.
It's another villain having a midlife crisis. It's like, oh, look what I got, the Big Wheel.
Yeah. I sense some compensation going on.
A lot of except again, it's a wheel. It's not a Corvette. It's not something. It's not a compensation in the direction you would imagine.
It's a fancy unicycle.
It's a weird thing to use, and for what it's worth, freaking Boomerang calls it out. It's like, what the heck? Or was it the Shocker who calls it out? I mean, who calls it out? Someone calls it out. It's like, why are you using it? Because it's cool, man. It's like, you do know we're actually committing a crime. And it's like, you like want a moment of like fourth wall breakery here. It's like, we're committing a crime. We're trying to get away quickly. Was this really the best choice? When you theoretically could have stolen a Quinjet. You know, it's like, of all the things in this universe, because not for nothing, I'm sure that was under lock and key. I'm sure there was something he could have stolen that would have made a better getaway.
Remember that battle van that Hobgoblin had back in Spider-Man?
Yes.
Like that big giant with, I think it even had a W on it or something. Like, they could have stolen that. There are so many other vehicles they could have used that would have been infinitely more efficient than this thing.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even think it has two seats. Let's just call it shelter dredging tool. It's like, it's a one-person ride, but it's a really cool ride.
Yeah.
You guys can hang.
This is for the getaway. I mean, I know we got a speed demon on our team, but where's everyone else going to sit? Where's the loot go?
Hey, throw all the loot in with me, and I'll meet up with yins later. Yes, hand me all the loot. I'll see you later. This is, I think, why Otto was so offended. Not just that they used the name, but they're so bad at the job. And not for nothing, they had Beetle on their team, the new Beetle, who is a genius. And it's like, sweetheart, you went along with this? At no point did you say, hey, maybe we should clear what getaway car he's getting. The Fantastic car, the old bathtub, would have been better. Would have fit all of them. Well, it's always a bad luck charm when you have Shocker on your team. I mean, me and Lil's favorite cannon fodder, the Shocker.
Oh, God, the Shocker.
I feel bad for the guy, honestly. Just, and to be sad for him, it's like, oh yeah, I'm a super genius. I built my own things, but it's giving me brain damage if you read the lore. The guy has a bad day all around.
Peter once literally beat him with butter.
To be fair, Peter has beaten people with Twinkies. So.
He literally fought him like a theater, and he's just he let the shocker take a shot. He's like, oh, that popcorn butter's going under his feet. When he fires, he's going to go flying back into the wall, which he did.
Oh my God, they do that later.
Yes!
They do the exact same thing later. We'll get to that with Speed Demon, who has the same problem.
Otto has Peter's memories.
Classic physics problem of a train running on a track with no friction.
High-speed friction over a slippery surface. Do the math, kids.
No, that's a physics joke. For those who don't know, if you ever read physics problems and you're trying to figure it out, it's like the train is moving on the track. Do not account for friction. And this is the weight of the engine. This is this, and this is that. Do not allow for friction. But of course, if you don't allow for friction, then the wheels can't move forward. So
I was trying to make a sexual joke. You were in Little Hellfire's house. You will make at least 1 or 2 sexual jokes per episode.
No, I will make physics jokes. Thank you very much. Because sex jokes are physics.
How dare you class up the joint, sir?
They're both, because sex jokes are both physics and chemistry. And chemistry is physics, and physics is chemistry, and everything is the same thing. Which is why there are no Nobel Prizes in chemistry, because actually there are Nobel Prizes in chemistry. So never mind. It's a whole thing about things being either physics or chemistry, but I forget what the third science is. But never mind. Moving right along, Philip. What else happens this issue? Do what I want to do.
All right. So yes, after he trounces trounces the Sinister Six, gives Boomerang a little swipe across the chest.
Oh, and that's brilliant.
With those new claws, yeah.
Yeah, I love the claws.
And he's like, when does SpiderMan have claws? Which is just that is such a Venture Brothers thing. Just wait a minute, is that in the book? When did we start this? Did we start this? Dude, we adapt. Roll with the punches. Roll with the punches.
But, this issue, we kind of see where Otto's going, because he brings the living brain back to the lab to make it his lab assistant, which he keeps for most of this run. Because even, when Peter comes back, he keeps the living brain for a while.
Living Brain is the hero of the entire Superior Spider-Man run. And those who know. Because, apparently it had a very useful USB drive. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Living Brain, he solves all the problems.
Has enough storage to keep a copy of a brain. Yeah, yes. Yes.
Yeah, he has a lot of storage, even though he has what it is, he has a slow modal processor. But his storage, he's got 1 billion terabytes of storage, but a very slow processor.
Keep a copy of my consciousness in the cloud.
Yeah.
But then
don't spoil the future episodes.
I know. But yeah, meanwhile, Otto's he's bugged the Sinister Six so he can keep, he's listening in on them while he can listen to them and leer at Mary Jane at the same time.
Yeah, staring at her.
Well, first off, Mary Jane, she comes to the show, and she comes to the show. I'm not faulting a person for looking at bazooms.
Oh no.
I'm faulting a person for not caring about the persons to whom the bazoom is attached, right. And that is essentially Otto's failure.
Yeah, it's fine to acknowledge those, but you have to acknowledge the rest of the person as well.
Exactly. We all love bazooms. Bazooms are wonderful. I have them myself. They're delightful, and if that's your thing, then it's great that you have bazooms. But you have to know the person behind the bazooms
to recognize how wonderful they are. And I think that this is the thing. I think that Otto could, but he's too worried about the math.
Well, I think too. I think one of the big themes of these first 3 issues is where it's like he slowly comes to realizations is like, I don't have to do everything the way Peter did. And he's like, wait a minute, I don't have to be in the Her just because Peter Parker was in the Her. Maybe I'm not in the Her, so maybe just end that.
And when was the last time that Otto had any love in his life to begin with? When he had a romance, it's been a long time, right?
There have been 3. One is yet to come.
Yes, further in the series.
One was before the delightful May Parker, for whom.
Oh, that's right, with May. Yeah.
I'm going to be honest with you. I think he felt something there. Mm-hmm. He really felt something for May, and I think and if nothing else, I think that there's a part of him that's why the Peter thing works for him, because he has that same love for May. And then, of course, what's her name? She's called but she had a robot body as well.
Stunner.
Stunner.
Yeah,
yes.
Was
the other one that
like a VR. Yeah, like a VR body. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And he loved Stunner. He loves May, and he loves Ms. Marconi.
You know what? There actually was a story in the 90s too, where they were like he loved this one woman. She was like another scientist or something. But this was like early before his pre-Octopus days. Yeah, and like the mother gave him all kinds of guilt, so he like broke up with her, and then the woman later.
Was it in the 90s or was that in this? Because they do reference that.
They might have referenced it again. I'm trying to remember, but I know that was originally from a 90s story. Yeah, where it's Yeah,
because he I mean, that's the thing. It's like he loved people, but and people loved him, but he couldn't accept it. He couldn't, because honestly, he had as abusive as his father was.
Right.
His mom was quite abusive as well. And that you get that physical and that psychological abuse, man, it's like game over. It's rough. But let's not dwell on that right now, because we got some time to get to the physical abuse before we even get to the psychological abuse.
But he defeats this. How does he defeat the Sinister Six, Charlie? Because he sets up traps for them.
Oh yeah, well exactly. He put a listening device, a classic spider tracer, which, to be fair, Spider-Man was not above. Don't act like Spider-Man. I never traced the villains back to their lair. No, but it's like, I just put a bug in there so I could hear what they were doing. And so, I'm monitoring what they're doing, and then I'm going to set up a trap to stop them, because why would I just know where they are? That's stupid, and attack. Because they're villains, I know that. They might have planned for people attacking them in their lair. So I'm going to wait till they get to my lair, Star Labs, and I'm going to put down popcorn butter on the thing so that the speedster can't run. And I'm going to invite the press. I'm going to do what I need to do to get this story moving forward.
Butter. Yeah,
Butter.
Butter.
Butter. But because again, he knows what to just stumble in, because idiots can be more dangerous than like smart people, because they're harder to predict for Otto, probably.
More chaotic. Yeah.
But then we kind of see part of.
We're just lucky he didn't do the karate chops on the ground.
Oh, I know.
Oh yeah,
because that would create enough. Yeah, he could have then just knocked up the pavement, like a cartoon character. He just runs and throws the dirt behind him,
Yeah, we see last week, kids. But then at the end, it looks like he's about to kill Boomerang. When then we see that part of Peter's consciousness is still in there, because in Amazing 700, it looked like Peter had died in Ock's body, but at least part of him's still alive in his own body still. So kind of holding him back.
Yeah. I mean, that's the start of this, is that Peter's still there, because not for nothing, fan theory time, Otto Octavius is dead. He has been dead this whole time.
This whole theory.
Peter brain in here is Peter Parker,
just rewritten,
but with Otto Octavius' memories rewritten. So that's why Peter's still there, because he's always there, because it's actually his body.
What about Tolliver?
I'm just saying, you know. And when Otto goes off on his own thing, that's why when Mephisto says, I can put you back just the way you were, he's actually letting him out from hell to be there.
Oh!
So, clones and androids all have souls. It's true. It's established. Don't fight it. There's 400 wizards in hell right now waiting for their chance to make their move. If you could all agree on one thing, they'd probably dominate hell by now. But
I'll let you out of hell. Now, don't go into politics.
I'm just telling you, every time he clones himself, that's a brand new soul. You clone yourself, you make a brand new soul, which is evil and goes to hell. In fact, there's one that just was like a soul that got blown up, and there's like a whole legal battle. It's like, hey, I may be the leader, or I'm sorry, not the leader, but the wizard. I may be here, or even an Otto Octavius, I may be here, but quite frankly, I never committed the evil that my memories say I did, because I actually never existed yet. So I was killed before I could actually commit any evils. Ergo, I should go to heaven.
Time paradox.
There are laws, and honestly, I guarantee you. I mean, that's the thing. She-Hulk has done the living tribunal stuff. She does not want to go into the afterlife courts, because it's like, hey, I was a clone that whole time. You can't pin nothing on me.
All right, so issue 2. I mean, this one's a little different because there's really not we see a little bit at the end or towards the end with the Vulture's crew, but I was gonna say there's not a lot of supervillains in this. You know, it starts with basically Spider-Man. This Spider-Man trying to get in good with Jameson.
Yeah, and this is the one with the spider signal, right?
No.
Or is that next issue?
I think that's the next one, yeah.
Issue. Yeah, this is the one where they make good, and to be fair, you know, honestly, here's the thing. You can put this all on Otto, but I honestly think that as a politician, because at this point in history, Jameson is mayor, he actually has to make peace with a Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Because he knows it's a 50-50 split in the demographic, and he probably knows deep down Spider-Man is a hero as much as it was beneficial to play into the dangers of Spider-Man. He knows he has to make good with them.
Well, I think too,
Which is why I think even in this, he's like, as the bigger man, I'll say I can work with you, Spider-Man.
Well, and two, like when he first became mayor, they had other writers had him starting up anti-Spider-Man squads to try to get Spider-Man. It was 24/7 around the clock, and I think a lot of people were like, "Wait a minute, you're spending how much money to go after one man?"
Yeah,
exactly. It's bad. It's bad politics.
Oh yeah,
Phil. I know you live out in Pittsburgh, but this is New York City, and we have a lot of media here who has nothing better to do than to look at budget allocations.
Well, I was going to say, no matter how big and how small, taxpayers aren't going to be like, you're spending all our money to persecute one man,
one guy. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, that's the thing, and at the end of the day, it's like, I really feel this makes sense for Jameson to say, okay, I know that there is a big Spider-Man contingent. He's not actively hurting the city, so I'm going to make nice with Spider-Man. It is Jameson's luck that it happens to be Otto at the time. I think that had it been anyone else, he would have been just as happy to make the arrangements. But Otto was like, yeah, let's make a more efficient, more superior Spider-Man force.
Well, I think too, Jameson's thinking, if I can be the boss of this guy, I can set him straight, keep him on track, and not.
Yeah.
Wasn't also Spider-Man in the Avengers at this point? So that also gave him some kind of public.
Yeah.
notoriety.
Well, the Avengers always have a very loose arrangement. At this point, he's actually on the Luke Cage Mighty Avengers.
Oh, okay.
Because that becomes a whole thing.
Oh, yeah, Otto, yeah.
He winds up with Luke Cage's Mighty Avengers, who he does not meld well, but he actually does a good job with them. Mm-hmm. So, it's actually, and again, that's actually some of Otto's most heroic work, is when he's working with the Mighty Avengers. And of course, that's expressly because the Mighty Avengers under Luke Cage, based up in Harlem, actually wind up being willing to deal with people who were ostensibly villains. In fact, there's like one person, I think I want to say maybe Yondu or someone like that. There's a super villain mystic that they wind up like, okay, we can be cool, don't blow up the planet, where they all work together. And not Yondu, I forget his name. Anyway, but yeah, that's the Mighty Avengers run. We won't go into that right now. Getting back to these stories, Philip, what happens next?
Well, we see Otto trying to woo Mary Jane some more.
Yeah, and he comes to the realization that, you know what, it's not Peter she's into, and it's not Spider-Man she's into. It's the both.
Yeah.
And that is the problem, I think, It's like Superman. It's like Superman and Clark Kent. And ostensibly, if you are Superman and Clark Kent, you could maybe understand the conversation, because I understand why she's into both of us. I just have to find a way to merge our two lives together.
And that's
but
the
of course,
part.
Yeah. Well, and that's the part. That's the thing for an Otto is. It's not, and I know I've jumped all the way to issue 3 already, so
that's all right. But no, I mean, issue 2 has one of the creepiest scenes where Otto's like, "I have all these memories of him being with Mary Jane." It's just like,
oh yeah,
but
Dan Slott.
I don't know. I don't know how creepy that is as creepiness goes. It's like it's basically I mean, not to be rude about it. But it's not like he couldn't have imagined that all by himself.
Well, yeah, true, but...
Well, no,
like
but it would be like finding like a box of their sex tapes and just sitting down.
Well, it's not even that, too. I got the impression that he had his hand on Peter's tiller, if you will.
Well, I mean, and not for nothing, yes, obvi.
Yeah.
And that's probably the point, it just he's dealing with it as he deals with it, Yeah. And as he says, I can do what I need to do to deal with,
I mean,
and
this
also shows how this isn't that important to him.
And again, I mean, this is the most heinous example, but I mean, this whole series, Charlie Esther, come on, it's a rape. I mean, he's forced himself upon Peter's body. Come on.
Oh, well, I mean, Peter, as far as he knows, is dead. And yes.
Well, yeah, as far as he knows, he has literally cast Peter out of his body and stolen his body.
I mean, and again, this goes into fan theories. He did nothing of the sort. He just convinced Peter that he was Dr. Octopus, and then convinced himself he was Peter Parker. And then he died thinking he was Peter Parker. And that is literally what happened. It's like, unless you're going to say that he transferred human souls, which nothing about Otto Octavius makes me think he understands the concept of a soul. I think he literally just rewrote brains to think they were something. And so he died thinking he was Peter Parker. And, which is again, a whole other episode of She-Hulk, Celestial Court. But still, he died thinking he was Peter Parker. And Peter Parker got to finally be himself, thinking he was Dr. Octopus. That as Dr. Octopus, he got to be that guy who said, you know what? Let him run. I don't care. Because I'm about me. And that's who Peter Parker is. He's a horrible human being.
It's only when it comes back to bite his own people he loves that he actually cares. So...
All right, so Justin, what did you think? Again, this was your first rodeo with this.
Yeah, it was weird. Like the part where Otto was going through the memories, I thought that was creepy. Like to me, that would be like if he was going through Peter's stuff and found like a bunch of Peter and Mary Jane sex tapes. Like, oh, I'll have a browse at these. I thought that was weird, but yeah.
I mean, okay, and to be fair, I don't mean to judge here. But, it's pornography.
Well, yeah.
And it's imaginary pornography at that.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Well, no, it could be actual memories.
No, it's Peter's memories.
Yeah.
So exactly, Peter feels violated. Absolutely. Peter feels violated, and rightly he should. But as I said, it actually is Peter's brain. This is, and not for nothing, not to put too fine a point on it, you're going to tell me that Peter never sat back on a lonely night when him and MJ were broken up and remembered the same things?
Yes, but that's his memory. That's his memories, though.
No.
That's his memories, though.
Yeah.
Again, if we assume this is still Peter, this is the canonical question.
I know you're thinking of this with. I know
or did he just convince him his name was Otto Octavius?
You're thinking with logic. Yes, they just rewrote their brains. So yes, Peter thinks he's Otto. But
and how else would Otto think about it? Do you really think Otto is doing soul transfer like freaking Dr. Doom?
Yes, but this is Dan Slott writing it. This is Dan Slott writing this.
Yeah.
That lousy dropout. Do you think he would stoop to some Ovid's weird
Whoa.
technology? I meant to say weird.
Okay. Okay. No.
Ovid, you remember the Ovid? Doom how to transport his soul into other beings.
I would give you that with the whole Otto thing, but this is Dan Slott writing this, and he was always hit or miss with me with the Spider-Man stuff, and I think he was a decent enough writer, but I don't think he completely 100% got Spider-Man or a lot of these characters like Otto, so.
Yeah. Well, fair enough, but honestly, it's the death of the author. Whether what he intended is irrelevant.
That's right. Yeah.
It's what we as the readers take to tell the story. Because honestly, until another writer says, no, that's not what happened.
Yeah.
Because even when we get to the Mighty Avengers and Peter tries to explain to the Mighty Avengers what the heck happened, he's like, well, like, Otto Octavius was me, but it was still me, but it wasn't me. It is literally, get the idea that nobody is like quite clear what Peter is talking about.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, okay, man.
But yeah, I think it was.
We'll deal with you.
I always thought it was just like a straight up consciousness transfer. But again, Peter's whole consciousness didn't go in the Oxbot.
No, it didn't go anywhere, and it's sitting right there next to him, yelling at him.
Slots.
You know what? But that's because that's what Peter always wanted. He wanted to be a freaking wrestler. He wanted to take down Andre the Giant and be the amazing arachnid. That was his dream.
That was Macho Man. It was Macho Man. Come on.
Well, no. That was
in some multiverse that did happen.
No, because he wanted to be the arachnid, and freaking Mysterio said, "No, you're Spider-Man."
Oh, yeah.
And he wanted to take down the champion, but he had to fight Hacksaw first. You had to go through the things. But after he defeated Hacksaw, then he had to go back.
Bonesaw, man, that guy did not have a. That guy did not have a. He did not have a 2x4. How dare you?
I apologize for my failure on that item. Yes, he was Bonesaw, not Hacksaw. Thank you, Philip. I am humbled by your knowledge. As always.
All right, let's get to
Can we get to the midgets?
Whoa! Yes, issue 3. Yes,
the vulture midgets.
And they actually, one, that's not a good term, and two, they weren't. They were actual children, as we discover.
Exactly. That's the real point of this. It's like if they were dwarfs or midgets, as Otto says, that would have been cool. But man, there is a line, and you crossed it. In fact, even in this point, like, Adrian says, man, I was using teens in the last time we met. And it's like, yeah, teens are different. And which is, honestly, this is a classic sociopathic argument.
Yeah.
Between the two sociopaths.
And a two yeah.
Line is. It's like, no, man, this is okay for our level of evil. And honestly, this is like my favorite line is from Dusk Till Dawn. When at the end, what's his name? George Clooney says to Jennifer, I don't even know if that's her name, but anyway, the young girl in it, I may be several bad words this, but I'm not several more bad words this. Mm-hmm. It's like why he won't take her to the evil, the town of the, criminals. He's like, I'm this level of evil. I'm not that level of evil.
Right.
I'm the level of evil that did not see vampires as something that was oh, cool. What if we join them? I'm the guy who says, let's kill the vampires and get the F out of here. Yeah. And that is, what was her name? She was also in Natural Born Killers.
Oh, isn't it Juliette Lewis? Yeah.
Juliette Lewis. That's it.
Yeah.
Juliette Lewis. So he says to Juliette Lewis, I'm a this, but I'm not a that. And this is that moment for Otto where he's like, yeah, it's cool that you want to be a villain, but it's bad that you want to exploit people who are children. There is a level at which your evil becomes too evil. Like the tick says, eating kittens is wrong, and you shouldn't do it ever.
Ever.
And two, I mean, even though the vulture doesn't know it, Otto's like, yeah, that wasn't me last time when you were,
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's just giving these kids, like, arcade tokens, right? He's just paying them with arcade tokens. Like, he's not even actually giving them anything.
No, no one could.
Exactly. He's really a bad person. He's pulling a Fagin, and you know what? Fagin is awful.
Super villain.
Fagin is arguably worse than Bill Sykes. I said it. You can at me, nerds.
I did think it was cute how he had
the musical says Fagin is worse than Sykes. So
I did like the little mini replicas of the original Vulture costume. I thought that was cute.
Well, I like that they had the whole pumpkin head. I thought that was neat because that's how you don't know. You don't know what you're dealing with.
Right. Yeah.
And these are, and to be fair, these are probably children abused themselves. Because he's pulling them in because they come from broken or bad situations.
Right.
Probably like runaways.
There's no heroes in this story, except for the fact that freaking Otto shows up and suddenly he remembers, and and this is the thing. This is also where we get the dip in the mindscape, where suddenly Peter's drawn into Otto's memories, which again gives me this idea that it is still Peter's brain, and this is just Otto's rewriting on top of it. And to be fair, if you want to go canonical, this is why Otto doesn't remember who Peter is when Mephisto reboots him.
Mephisto's always doing mind wipes.
Exactly! Mephisto is evil, but you signed the contract. Why are you doing that?
Yes. Always read the fine print.
Even if you read the fine print, it's like literally, dude, you're not a lawyer. Maybe call up Jen Walters. It's like at some point someone has to say, oh, you know what, Mephisto, this sounds like a good idea, but you know what? Let me call Jen Walters. You do superhuman law, right? It's like, yeah, okay. So Mephisto wants me to sign a contract. Don't. Just don't.
Yeah. If you smell sulfur, don't sign anything.
That's the book we need. We need a Marvel legal team. Jennifer Walters, Matt Murdock. We put Mephisto on trial.
Yes.
Well, no, I mean not even Mephisto on trial. Like I said, this is celestial court.
Yes.
Like I said, Jen Walters has been a juror for the Living Tribunal.
Yeah.
I need her in celestial court. I need her going up against the one above all, saying, okay, look, I know what you're saying, but let's talk about the real being that we're talking about. Because when you're a clone, you're not that other being. And yes, is that being going to be evil? That's the question. And that comes into a whole more complex issue. Because a lot of them are probably going to say, well, it probably will be evil. Well, it's like, see, that is the problem. You don't have the enlightenment to ascend. So that's the question, not just, you're a clone of the wizard, you have to go to heck. So, there is a whole legal drama available for those who are interested. Esoteric legal dramas. Man, that's a sitcom waiting to happen.
But I did like in this issue, like Peter turned the tables and he was able to see some of Otto's memories, with him talking to the Vulture, seeing, the Vulture just wanted like one big score and he was going to retire. So before he finds out that he's using the kids, he even says to Vulture, he's like, here, I have money. I will give you like an offshore bank account or whatever. And it's just like, you can retire. But then the Vulture's the Vulture thinks Spider-Man's mocking him because that's what's happened in the past.
He thinks he's messing with him.
Uh-huh.
And to be fair, here's what I'll tell you. It's never about one big score. He says it's about one big score. He says it's just want to get enough to settle down, but it's never enough.
Yeah, how long would he settle down for before he went back to it? It would probably be like, 6 months? Yeah.
Yeah, he's a gambler, He's a gambler because he went into supervillainy. He could have fought his partner in court about who actually invented the electromagnetic levitation harness. But he didn't. He just chose to go to villainy. Because...
At an old age, no less.
Well, his business partner ripped him off, took everything.
But still, that's what we have a legal system for. Please call Jennifer Walter. She's the best lawyer in town. Even before she had superpowers. There were lots of lawyers he could have hired, and he could have addressed this issue in a practical and legal method. But he chose not to, because at his core, he wants to be the villain. He wants to be the supervillain.
He's not a good person, yeah.
Deep, like Clarence Bodecker, You probably think he's not a very nice person.
So yes, as we see, then Otto hits one of those underlings and see it's a child, and we get that flashback to his childhood.
Being slapped.
Once again, yeah.
Had that been established before that Otto had been abused as a child?
I know, Charlie, didn't they, I thought it was established at least that his father was at least verbally abusive. I don't know about the physical.
I mean, to be honest with you, I don't know 100%.
Yeah.
And I will give my entire, here's what I'll say. Like, the original Otto was the nice guy Otto turned evil because of, traumatic brain injury. Mm-hmm. And that's been the canon until we get the Superior run. So I think the Superior run is really where we first get the whole, there's deeper levels to it, that there was an overbearing mother, there was an abusive father, and these things combined is what made him a supervillain, even though he didn't want to be, but he still, not for nothing, got his degree, unlike that dropout Doom, and that's all we can say is Doom just never once is trying to deal with whatever happened to his father. Doesn't even give a crack for his father dying in the snow, keeping him alive.
Yeah.
He just assumes his dad's in heaven. Meanwhile, his dad's probably out in purgatory somewhere. It's like, yeah. Be nice if you tried to free me, son. Maybe we weren't as close as you and Mom, but you know what? Whatever, dude. Let me go push this boulder uphill again.
But young Victor was like, I thought he smelled bad on the outside.
Oh,
man, I got so many fan theories on Victor. His last name isn't really Von Doom. That's his grandmother telling tales to explain why she got knocked up. Say, it was the Baron knocked me up, so we're the Von Dooms now.
it's not.
And it's all a lie It's lies all the way down. He's just a dude. He's just a dude from Latveria.
Just tries to steal power and invents horny Doombots.
Yeah, well, I mean that is my basic take on Doom, is that everything he's been told in his life is a lie, but he believes it because he was told it. And the idea that it's not true, that his last name isn't really Von Doom, that he is not the true heir to the throne of Latveria, is just too much for him to bear. He can't deal with it, so he just...
It would break his mind.
It would break his mind. It would break his mind if the truth came out that, no, actually, you're just a gypsy, and, your grandma slept around, she had your dad, but she called him Von Doom, and everyone said, yeah, sure, we'll call him Von Doom. What the F? Who cares? We're gypsies. Let's just move around, and we'll keep on doing what we do in our gypsy way, or our Romany way. Thank you very much. We'll be Romany, and we'll do our stuff, and no one will care, and you know what? He'll marry this nice young lady who seems to have an inordinate obsession with, mystical stuff, but whatever, who cares? What bad could come from that? And
I think his real last name is von Frankenstein.
You can hope so. I mean, who knows who was visiting that week? I mean, that's the thing. It's like,
just
the idea of the person who says they have royal heritage, who it turns out was like, well, actually, they just sort of stripped the stable boy. That's a trope that exists.
Or I'm 164th, to ya.
I mean, that's the thing. It's like
I looked it up on Ancestry.com.
I don't know. I just and it's nothing against being the grandchild of a stable boy. He's still a genius. He could still be proud of who he is, but he needs to say he's more. And to be fair, it's because he was a Romany and they were oppressed, and he was always looked down upon because he was Romany, and that is why he has to lash out, much like Magneto. It's like, I was put in this position even before I was a mutant. People were trying to kill me, that I now am a mutant. Why do you think I don't want to seek out and attract vengeance? That just makes sense from that perspective. But if you take that larger perspective, maybe you should try to be a better person. Maybe you should be better than those who attack you. Maybe you should try to be more moral than fish. That's a Ben Franklin quote that if you know it, you will understand that actually it's a reverse of it. Because Franklin was trying to be a vegan at the time and saw that fish ate other fish. And he said, well, why should I think of myself more moral than a fish? A fish treats a fish, I should eat a fish. But at the same time, expressly because you are a human, you should be more moral than fish.
That's an interesting artistic choice.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Wait, where were we talking about?
Well, yeah. And what did you guys think of the end of this issue, where he uses the signal to blind Vulture and basically slams him into it, and then the excuse he tries to give the Carly, remember, he knew what kind of guy I was, so I had to fake him out by being brutal. It's like, okay, yeah. Otto.
I mean, to be fair, hey, he doesn't actually kill him here.
No.
True.
As much as he wanted to, because he got caught.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's one of those moments, like, again, it's like, you know what? He kind of crossed the line. He crossed the unwritten supervillain line. That there are things we do and things we don't do. And, we'd be talking about this if it was available on Marvel Unlimited. But it's like when Doom sells his soul to the demons to gain extra mystical powers. It's like, that's a line you cross that you really should never have crossed.
Yeah.
You make that choice, you're not in the same league anymore. You're not playing fair, and now all of your glories are owed to someone else.
Yeah, especially when Doom had all the prior knowledge about his mother and being entrapped by Mephisto for all that time, and having occult knowledge to begin with. If you have that level of occult knowledge, don't make deals with demons. It's stupid.
It was stupid, but then again, he's a dropout. What do you want from him?
Well, yeah, and he's an egomaniac, so you can't tell him no.
Exactly. It's like nothing about it. It's like you'd like to say it's not in character, but actually, no, that's totally in character. Yeah. And yeah, I totally get where he was coming with that. And this is why nobody likes Doctor.
There's the mother issue. It's like, I must free mother because she's the one who never told me no.
Right. Somebody has to, and it's going to be her, damn it.
Yeah. And honestly, I think the first thing she would say is no. Because that's what moms do. Absolutely. In fact, she told him, don't look at my freaking books in my secret locked chest. She literally said, don't do that. Gavalt. What are you going to do?
All right. So any other thoughts on this Superior Spider-Man?
Some of these issues reminded me of, there was a movie from the 90s called Strange Days. Do you guys remember that one?
Oh, I love that book. I love that movie.
It's been so long, but yeah.
Juliette Lewis, Ralph Fiennes, and Angela Bassett.
Yeah, it's Juliette Lewis week, yeah.
Yes, I know. It's the mind, the virtual reality.
Living somebody else's life through their memories, basically.
Oh, yeah.
Like a chip thing. And that's what a lot of this story, these issues reminded me of. Like Otto was kind of like a character from that movie that was reliving Peter's life, and then Peter did the reverse as well when he was going through Otto's memories. And I thought that was cool. I liked how they had that that back and forth going on in issue number 3 here. Yeah, it was good, really good. Yeah.
I love Strange Days because that was like a film set in the future. That was like 2 years from when it came out. It was, but I loved it. I loved it just for that fact. Like, yeah, no, the next like 3 years, someone's going to invent this thing, and the whole universe is going to just become Drac in a few years. So don't worry about it. I love Strange Days. So I'm really glad you made that reference because it was a cool film. But yeah, I mean, first off, I'm a big Superior Spider-Man stan. I really think them making him Otto again was a lousy choice. I know you got to put your toys back in the box, but again, especially because it builds my lore, it makes me happy. Like literally, Anna Maria could recreate a Tolliver clone from the old tapes, just like they did to Red Skull, and then you have Tolliver and Otto sort of looking at each other. And it's like, wait a minute. Who's me? Are you me? No, I'm me. It's like, wait a minute. What happened here? And maybe they both team up to fight Mephisto.
Yeah.
And they hire Jen Walters. We need a good lawyer. Jen Walters, attorney at law.
Yeah, Justin, there was a second series of Superior Spider-Man where he basically puts his brain in like a new body and like try to be a little more heroic, try to have like a new life. And at the end of the series, he basically to defeat a Norman Osborn from another reality. That's when he makes the deal with Mephisto. He's like, I can't do this as me. Put me back in my original, make me Otto again.
So it was Mephisto that did it.
Oh yeah,
it's always Mephisto. Mephisto's all the way down.
Actually, when it comes to Spider-Man, yeah.
I should have known.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mephisto loves, because they're in the web, and that's his whole thing. As I've always said, Mephisto has literally no power. He's a simple magician.
Oh.
But because people grant him the power because they think he's so scary, and he has for gosh sakes, there's a freaking Ghost Rider tying him up with chains and dragging him behind his car.
Ah.
You think that Mephisto has so much power that he's so scary? No, it's like literally any demon from heck can slap him around and call him Tootie if he wants, It's just...
I think that's happened a few times.
Many times, and that's the thing. Because the demons in hell, they don't have any actual power. They only have the power that the souls condemned to hell give them.
Well,
because they show up in hell and they say, I'm in charge here, so you better do what I say, because I'm the demon. And they go, okay, well, I guess you're the demon, so what am I going to do? And all it takes is like 1,000 wizard souls to say, you know what, we're smarter than him. Let's go defeat him. And that's how the new Throne of Hell gets taken, except then you have to pick one wizard to sit on it, and they'll never agree. That's the failsafe in the whole system.
Well, and remember Lilith's theory. She says Mephisto's Uncle Ben, so...
I like that.
That's why May's immortal. He don't want her down there.
Wasn't that what happened with that guy Belasco? Wasn't he a wizard, and then he got the throne, and that basically was his story, if I remember right?
Something like that. I mean, there's they've tried to do straight up Satan. They've tried to do Mephisto, Belasco. Yeah.
Ton of them.
They do very little with actual Satan.
Yeah, anymore. I think that was like the original.
It is Satanish for a while.
Satanish, yeah.
He got eaten by Dormammu. Although I think he's like back in another form, and but it's I know they actually have the throne of Satan, but no one sits on it anymore except for like I know Strong Guy sat on it for a bit. I think Johnny Blaze is sitting on it right now.
Nah, he's gone again.
He's gone again. Okay,
really?
So you know.
Wow.
I mean, really, that's the thing is that everyone's fighting. And again, it's like you get a million wizards, they can take over the place. Talking about, of course, Whitney Bettnam, who has like just dead wizards all over the place. They could all take the throne from everyone else by sheer massive numbers. But the fact of the matter is, when it comes to who gets to sit on it, they're not going to be egalitarian about it.
Right.
You know. No one's going to say just because you were the first wizard, you get to sit first.
True.
Because that guy was probably probably all the older wizards, like the later wizards, even if you were like just lived for like 4 days as the wizard, like, dude, we have so much more knowledge than you could even comprehend. Back when you were fighting freaking Johnny Storm, and you had your doorbell that said, "Greetings, Johnny Storm," as if that was like cool and amazing back in the day. There's a whole issue about that. Don't mind me. About how archaic the wizard's tech seems to people coming back to his mansion, like only like 2 decades later. So,
all right. Anything else?
Sorry.
That's okay. No. I knew what I was in for. All right, kids. So, next episode, we'll be doing Marvel Team Up 96 with Noel. At least me and Charlie. Justin, you're welcome to join us. We'll try to wrangle the other host from Trapped in a World, Russell, also. So,
wild like an animal.
Wow. If they're not busy talking about knees. All right, so yeah, send your thoughts for those jokers. Email us, CapesandLunatics@gmail.com, or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And remember, you can find Ultimate Spidercast on Facebook, on Twitter, Web of Spider-Man, our Facebook fan group, all the various social medias for all the shows we do. The YouTube channel, please subscribe there. Everything gets a video. So smash that subscribe button.
Smash it!
And most importantly, the Patreon. Again, help support this madness. $3 to $5 gets you access to, early access to creator interviews, including the monthly Chichester chats.
I got the good mic out for you guys.
And superhero movie.
Chichester chats.
Bing! For quality. Superhero movie brackets. We will find the worst superhero movie of all time by the end of the year. And, of course, Capes and Lunatics and Capes and Lunatics Sidekicks merch.
Real aluminium.
Get yourself some goodies.
That's
and
right.
Join me in the Patreon Elite.
That's right. That's right. Right over there. Right beside me. Yes. One of our Patreon Elite, along with Russell and Ray. There's Justin right there.
That's right.
So find it all at Linktree, linktr.ee/Capes and Lunatics. And not only is he a Patreon Elite, he's also on many other podcasts. Justin, where can people find you?
Can also be found at Gamma Charge, the strongest podcast there is, where Russell and I talk about everything to do with the Hulk and She-Hulk. Tomes of Evil, a comic book supervillain podcast, where we talk about the bad guys. And Predator and Prey, in which we talk about the Predator from the films, comics, and everything else.
Scream at!
Well, that escalated quickly.
So, quick question for you.
Gotta rub that one in.
Have they established, because there's a whole thing about the gun at the end of Prey, and did they establish in a film that the gun came from somewhere else? Or was that only in another context? Do you know? Or because my child was asking me about this. If you don't know, that's okay. I don't mean to put you on the spot.
The gun that she took?
Yeah, the gun that she took that eventually goes to, what's his name? Guy from Danny Glover.
In Predator 2, right. Yeah. I think that that is the same gun, yeah.
Yeah, and so I'm wondering if, because now I get the idea that at some point the Predators got it back, and it's implied that the Predators returned at the end of Prey. So sorry, spoilers for those who haven't seen it yet. So it's a big question how it got back to them. I personally think they showed up to get the body, and they were like properly reverential. She's like, "Here, take your dang gun too. Yeah. Get the heck off our planet. Yeah. Welcome to Earth," as Will Smith once said. You know? So that's my take on it, but we don't know yet. We'll have to see. So,
all right.
Sorry.
No, I was going to say, no, Charlie Esser, give him your plugs.
Oh, hey, you know what? I'm on the Capes and Lunatics podcast because I'm a fancy man. I'm also on Avengers Declassified, where we will declassify all of the Secret Avengers adventures that you don't know about and you've never even thought about. And, of course, I'm on Full Stream Ahead with Maz Manzoor, the skinniest, richest friend I know. And if you want to write to me about any of those things, you can do so at superconnectivityblog at gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, at gmail.com. And, of course, follow me on the Twitters. I live tweet things when I feel like it at Charlie Esser. That's CharlieEsser. Look for the two E's in the middle.
For quality. Bing!
Thank you, Maz.
Mother. All right, kids. Remember, next time, Howard the Duck. Wow.
It's a world he never made.
He's trapped in a world.
Make sure to have some cigars ready for him.
Oh, if we can get everyone, maybe we'll have to do another live read, Justin. All right.
I can't smoke cigars, man. I'm allergic to nicotine.
Till then, swing on back.